Hello, this is Pavel from DevOps Codes Academy. Welcome to our another lesson about Terraform, AWS, and DevOps. Today, we're gonna focus a little bit on the quality of our Terraform code. I will show you how to upgrade after a while AWS provider to newer version. Also, we will take a look a little bit into our variables. I will show you how to define some new variables, how to provide a variables file. Also, we're gonna use those variables together with locals to construct a stack name, which will help us to have better naming convention. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to visit our Facebook group, DevOps Codes Academy. You can find the link in the description, and let's jump to the console. Okay, we are in the Visual Studio Code. We want to upgrade a couple of things today. The first thing will be version of our AWS provider from HashiCorp. If we go to the documentation of Terraform and we will find AWS provider, we see that now it's 444. You might have a different one if you will be watching this later, so don't worry. You can either use the same as me or you can try to move on with the later on, as long as there will be no 5 as a major version. Probably there will be no big changes, only some improvements. I created a new branch, code improvements. You should know this already from Git. And let's try to execute Terraform plan. We should get an error. Yeah, inconsistent dependency log file. And we can see that the version 440 doesn't match our versions, probably because of here previously we had 416. And we can run Terraform init upgrade. That should download for us newer version, and it should upgrade also Terraform log.hcl. You can see provider is been installing. Most of the times, new versions, they will have a new functionality, new resources might be added, and we have successfully, Terraform has been successfully initialized. Well done. We see that this file has been updated and we are good to go. It's a good practice to do it from time to time. If we would leave it for such a long time, like 1 year, 2 years, and we would like to upgrade to newest version, we might and we could face some problems here. All right. Next thing I would like to tackle today are variables. We can go through our code and take a look. Last time we already created a variable for the VPC CIDR. And we provided a default version. Today I will show you how to work with a file. We're gonna create a file with variables. I will put it also an example. So we're gonna use it here. Okay. What we can do is go through the code and observe what we could put as a variable. And we see that we are listening on port 80, then we are redirecting to port 80, and also target group is using port 80. And we could change it, not all of it, because the HTTP port will be always 80, but our backend might be listening on a different port. So what we can do here, we can introduce backend port, and we can create a new one, backend port used by backend application, and we can put it 80 here. Let's do Terraform FMT validate. Should be good. Okay, so let's make an example that we will not have a default here. We can remove this. If we execute Terraform plan, I think it should ask us, yeah, exactly. Backend port, that's the description. Enter value 80. And it will print it out, and we will see that 80 should be attached to the load balancer. Go faster. Yeah, target group attachment, and also target group here. Plus, I already noticed that we also are using port 80 in security group. So for now, we can leave it here for load balancer. This will be the egress going out, var backend port. And here we are allow HTTP from ALB. And I see that HTTP, it should be from ALB here. Egress should be internet access. var backend port. Okay. So we have an example that we have to provide the value. So what if we create a new file, Terraform tfvars, and we provide a value here. I think it should be work like that. And let's execute the plan again. All right. That's great. But what if we would like to have a password here? Let's say some database, some values that we would not like to share with the public. We would not like to keep it in our repository. So what I would recommend here is to add Terraform tfvars to git ignore, so we will not push it to the repo. But if we copy this file and paste it, and we can rename it .example. Oh, mistake. Exactly. So we can have an example that we will push to the repo, and we can also add some additional comment. Default values to work. Oh, whatever. Here. Okay. We can make it here. That's a good practice then, to start from example and always have it locally, right? This file will stay on your computer. Okay, that's the one thing about the variables, and we can do some more variables out of the video, and you can compare later on with me. I will push my code to the repository. What I would like to implement here for variables would be some main variables that we can use for naming convention. And this is a good practice if you work in a big companies with multiple projects. So we can take those values here. Description, project name, e.g. DevOps Codes Academy. It's quite long. Maybe I will make it shorter. Let's make it DC Academy. So I will not put it as a default one. I will add it here. Project name equal DC Academy. Let's add here a region. That would be AWS region. And in our case, we can use the one that we have for provider, is EU Central 1. All right, and let's make environment. And we will have a test environment. Copy those values to our TFRs and declare one more. Environment. Application, e.g. test, QA, prod, for example. We can test UAT prod. Okay. So we have three variables that we can use them now as locals. Let's create a, or we can make it in main, no problem. If we declare here stack name, and we can combine it from multiple variables, var project name dash var region dash var environment. Okay. And let's update some of our resources. So instead of making this name, and that might be time consuming, what we could do here, we can have our public ALB, and we can change it, or even make it ALB pub local stack name. All right, so we pass from variables from here some values, then we concat them together into the stack name, and we can reuse it later in names. lbtg. Oh, too much. Okay. Let's just take this part. Let's go to the S3 bucket, for example. S3. It's important that you will add your own project name. You can come with your names, so it will be unique. You can change the environment also, and we can have here allow HTTP from ALB. Okay. S3, load balancer, EC2, we don't have any name here. Cloud front, I guess not now, nothing needed. Okay, let's make Terraform format, validate. Okay, that looks good. What we can do else, so we have 3 quite nice variables, and we are using tags in some of our resources. In some of our resources, you can you could notice that I was removing tags. It's because we can define default tags equal, and we can make a map. So let's make it Terraform true. Let's make project equal var project name, region equal var region, and environment equal var environment. Should be small letter, I guess. All right, Terraform FMT. And for providers, there's a block called default tags, and we can make tags equal local default tags that we declared here. And let's try with validate Terraform plan, and hopefully, maybe not, no value. Okay. TFRs. Okay, looks like this has to be a string here. Let's try again. Okay, that was my mistake. And we see some problem. Name cannot be longer than 32 characters. And okay, so what we can do here, have on target group and on load balancer. So we can add a function, and we can find it in Terraform documentation. Oops, it's not AWS. Terraform functions, string function, and we should have it substring. Okay, so we can cut the string, and we can say that given string, we want to cut from the position 1, and we want to leave 4 characters, right? So the first one was cut, and we leave allow. So in our case, what we can do here, we can put a function around this name. And we can decide what we want to cut. Do we want to cut the beginning or ending? We can start from beginning, and we want to have max 32 characters. And we can do the same here. Substring 032. Let's try now. Okay, everything looks good. I will perform Terraform apply here. And let's wait a second until it's deployed. Okay, our code has been deployed. Let's go and take a look in AWS, and we see that we have Nginx working here, so we didn't break anything during our upgrade. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, leave any comments. Of course, we have to commit our changes, so let's do commit code improvements, git push setup upstream. Okay, let's take a look into the code. Pull requests, new pull request, code improvements, create a pull request. We see all our changes, create pull request. Merge it, delete the branch, go back to Visual Studio Code, git checkout master, git pull, and of course don't forget to destroy your infrastructure. Remember that you're doing everything on your own responsibility in the cloud. If you occur any costs, that's all on you at this point of interacting with the cloud. Thank you very much. That was Pavel from DevOps Codes. In the next lesson, we will go and start working with Docker. We'll learn some basics. What is a Docker image and container? And we will build one. And then we will try to replace our EC2 instance with Dockerized services. Have a good day.